from this flat. This is a 15-pound brisket that I got from Costco. The thing looks pretty awesome. I might trim a little bit of that, but not much. You know what, I'm probably just gonna leave it. But it turned out pretty good. I trimmed it up yesterday for the most part. This is obviously gonna take a lot longer to cook than this, but I'm gonna get them put on, trim some of that off. I'm gonna get them put on by 7 o'clock easily. And then this is a good way to reduce your cook time pretty significantly with what I found in the past. So I'm gonna do my rub on this one with the typical one I've been doing, and then on this I'm gonna do this, we have a Trader Joe's here in town, they have a coffee rub. It's coffee and garlic, and I'll probably add a little bit of black pepper to it, but that comes out pretty good most of the time. So I'm gonna do that on the burn ends, and I'm gonna do mine on the flat, and we're gonna kind of get them set up and see how they turn out. All right, start with a little bit of olive oil. I said before, I like to shake it up and make sure I get everything back distributed evenly, because you can see it settles when it's in there. Get everything covered, sides, everything. I don't know, I typically cook mine fat cat down, but I know a lot of guys and girls do it the other way. I really don't have a preference on it. I just think it always comes out pretty good. And you can rotate it. If you have a hot spot somewhere and you know that, you can always rotate it. I had to cooking. My old pellet smoker had a hot spot. I had to rotate it and flip it when I was cooking on that before. There you go. I like to pat it in. They should call it pat, not rub. Just a little bit on the back side. Good for me. Ooh, nope, got it. Cool. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna get this one on and wash my hands real quick. It's kind of a good thing to do too when you separate them like this. You can give yourself the opportunity to do something different on your point if you want to. But this barbecue rub and seasoning, it's got coffee and garlic in it. It's pretty good. I'll put this, and I'll add some coarse ground black pepper. Our local grocery store they make their own spices, and this is a really good, I think I said it was like a 16 or whatever on the grind deal, but it comes out pretty good. Coffee, garlic, and black pepper. There's some paprika in here. What else? Red pepper. Not sure what Clement Gold rind is, but coffee brown sugar, pepper. Can't go wrong. And I like using this sometimes too, and not telling anybody. And they eat it, they're like, "What is that?" I'm like, just something I made up, No, I tell them what it is. There we go. Flip it over. Same thing. Wash this bottle too. Wash everything. You can make your own coffee grind too, coffee rub, but sometimes it's just easier to buy it. We have a Shields over here too, the sporting goods store. And we have a place called Smoke and Fire, and they both have just ridiculous amounts of rubs and spices, and also sauces if you're into sauces and all that kind of stuff. I like to go look at their wing sauce selection. It's pretty freaking good. That black pepper should make it look real nice once it gets cooking. All right, so we're gonna cook today at 250, and this is the morning after I cooked the chickens last night and had quite a bit of beer and a little bit of bourbon, so I'm actually not feeling too bad. My wife, on the other hand, is not feeling too good. she actually did not get to enjoy dinner, actually. To tell you how much fun she had. So, it's looking pretty good. Whoop. All right. Got both of those rubbed down, different on each one. Big flat. I'm really happy with how big that flat came out, and then pretty decent sized point for a 15-pound brisket. So I'm gonna get these put on the smoker and just gonna let them ride. Hopefully they're done in like that 8 to 10 hour mark, but we'll see. So I'm getting this thing lit. I have some BB charcoal in there now. It's the hickory one, but I was at Costco the other day and got that brisket, and they had this giant 34-pound bag of the cowboy charcoal. It's a oak and hickory blend, so I'm gonna go ahead and try it out. I haven't ever used it before. Since it's oak and hickory, I got some cherry wood, a little pecan wood. I'm gonna put those in. There's a little bit of charcoal left in here from the last cooks. I'm gonna layer that. I'm gonna put more charcoal in, get this bad boy lit. 250 today, and then I'm gonna come back out and throw those on. Big bag. By the way, that giant 34-pound bag was only $19.99, so it's a pretty good deal considering the Kingsford was the same price, which I'll try that too sometime. I've done the Royal Oak, the B&B Hickory, and now I'm gonna try this. I probably will keep some of the Kingsford around just for regular cooks when we're trying to go through the week. We use this thing a lot. All right. Control it on. You gotta remember to pull these out. I forgot quite a few times as it's firing up, and it just charge, and it will not get hot, obviously. Fans on. Good shot. We're rolling. All right, see how this turns out. One of the cool things about this smoker too is it's 250 like in 5-10 minutes. Really easy, and it maintains pretty good. Pretty good there. This is actually a little bit hotter, which is kind of rare, but we're gonna see once it calms down. Once it fires up, maybe just shot up for a second, but it'll go back down. So I'm gonna grab those brisket pieces. That is a huge flat. I'm thinking it's probably 7 pounds of beef by itself. Just enough room at that point. I've been smoking on that middle rack. I'm not sure if you guys ever. That's how that turned out pretty good. I'm not sure if you guys ever do it flat on the grill. Bottom part, you do yours on the middle rack. Really don't want this thing on. We're touching it. So there we go. That's set up. We're just gonna let it ride. I'll probably come back in probably 3 hours, do the first check on it. Just kind of peek in there and see what's going on. Hopefully we'll get some good color. Everything's starting to rock and roll. Do a quick check in here. See the grill says it's running right at 250-ish, 252. And on the thermometer I put on here, that lava lock, looks like it's right at 240, 250. So a little difference, but nothing too crazy. First look. All right. That point's gonna have some awesome color on it. That black pepper looks good too. Starting to get some good color on everything. Long ways to go, but it's rolling. What you think, boy? Yeah. All right, close her back down and get it going. All right, we're at the 2.5 hour mark. Still rocking steady right at about 250. I'm liking this thermometer, by the way. It's pretty cheap, like 20 bucks on Amazon. Everything's looking good. I'm getting a little juice coming out of the point. I'm gonna spray this edge here just the edges where it looks like it might be getting a little bit dried out. Same thing on this one where this is kind of hanging over a little bit. Just gonna hit the edges, maybe a little bit on top. Whew, smells good. Got a ways to go, but I'm gonna let it keep rocking. Perfect day. A little windy, but it is overcast and about 50 degrees, so it's feeling pretty good. Almost there. All right, we're at the 3-hour mark. I'm gonna go ahead and probe these, check for temperature, just gonna see where we're at. I'm not sure if I'm gonna wrap them at all. I might end up just rolling them on here. They're definitely not even close. So 157 on that far side. 155 there, that's pretty good. The point, sitting at 158. Thin sides 158 and a half or so. So not bad. I'm gonna let it get to 170. I'm gonna let it get to 170, and then I think I'm going to, I'll probably wrap them. I'll probably butcher paper wrap them this time and see how they turn out that way. But so far so good. It's pretty good at the 3-hour mark, hitting that point when they're separated like that. You hit those temperatures a lot faster, but you still get a pretty good result. So we'll see. Here we go, 4-hour mark. I'm just gonna look at it. I'm not gonna put the temperature probe in it. This one's looking pretty good. This is that apple cider vinegar, apple juice, and just a little bit of water, almost equal parts. But just a little mist on this, especially on these edges where they're getting a little bit crisp, but it's looking good. I'm not quite ready to wrap yet though. I want it to look a lot darker than when I wrap it. So you just have to keep rolling. But so far so good. It's that coffee rub. A little bit of extra black pepper makes all the difference. It's getting good. A little tough still. Just got a ways to go. Patience. Here we go. Sitting right at the 5-hour mark. Rolling right at 250. Looking pretty good. Let's see what the temperature's at right now. That's pretty tough still. We have been basically stalled out here at about 165 to 170 for about 2 hours now. It happens. Center part's a little bit warmer back there. Point is definitely more tender. So yeah, it's getting a little higher. Ooh, that side's really tender. That's only 167. Oh, there we go. It's definitely warmer over there. That thinner part's definitely getting good. I think what I'll do is go ahead and wrap this one up and just let this one keep riding. I want it to get a little bit darker anyway, so she's gonna have to just keep going. Pull that out here in a second, wrap it up. All right, so here's the point. See, it's got plenty of juice on it. That's not all just from me spraying it. Got some good crust on the outside already. So we're just gonna wrap this up and then put it back on. Once it probes really, really tender, it'll be good to go. Can't find any scissors. That works pretty good. All right, see if I can get this to, I actually want to flip that over. Yeah, that side looks even better. Awesome. Tighter the better. It's a pretty good little wrap there. I'm gonna throw this back on, and I'm gonna let that flat go for maybe another hour. I think it'll get a little more color. Hopefully that'll bring that temperature up a little bit more. That'll be at the 6-hour mark, and then hopefully just have to wrap it up for 3 hours. We're probably gonna be having burn ends for dinner tonight. Probably not gonna be done with that one in time, but that's all right. This is plenty for us. So get that back on the smoker and let it ride. So that's pretty much the main reason why I like to separate the point from the flat. As you can see, that flat, it's pretty bright out here today. Beautiful day though. I'm loving this weather. I already went for a 10-mile bike ride. and I'm gonna beat the shit out of this brisket when it's done. But the point cooks faster anyway, because it's so much more marbled. It's got so much more fat in it. This one, it's just gonna take a while. It's such a bigger piece of meat, and it's so tight. So let that thing keep riding. At least that part's good. So let that keep going at least another hour, and once that's up, hopefully that temperature is getting around that 170 or just above mark, and then I'll be able to wrap it up too and just let it go. Hopefully it'll be done by 6 o'clock tonight, but that point will be done. I'm thinking in probably 3 hours or so, but we'll be checking back soon. Check this point now. We're at it's 1 o'clock, so we're at the 7 hour mark. No, 6 hour mark. Yeah, 6 hour. Oh yeah, look at that. Broke through. We're at that 165, 68 mark for about 2 hours. Now we're at 181. This side over here, pretty close to the same. Oh yeah, that's poking real tender already. What I'm gonna do is get this thing a little tough in this thick spot, but it's gonna be some work. So it's still at 180, so we got about a couple more hours on it easily. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that off, wrap it up too, and throw it back on. Right, I made this piece a little bigger because that flat is gigantic. This is the bottom side. That is not burnt. That has some good bark on it. All that stuff looks awesome. Little piece hanging over, little burnt little piece there, but the rest is all good. Take this same way. Butcher paper is kind of new to me. I've seen it around, a lot of people use it a lot, but I've been using foil and foil pans for so long. This is kind of a new thing to me, but so far so good. Just gotta be a little patient when you let it wrap and let it ride. But it's already got a little jiggle to it. That's pretty cool. Wrap this bad boy up nice and tight. A little more. And then my next investment is going to be some gloves, like some hot gloves. You can have hot shit. All right. Get that tucked under there. I did notice as I've been doing this, making a crease like you're folding up a Christmas present. Get those nice creases on there. Helps it stay nice and tight. So this over here, I'll take this piece, fold it over on like that, and I'll follow this line all the way out like that. That way when I tuck it, I keep it tight. And this one, there's no perfect way to do this. As long as it's tight, it's good. I saw this guy on YouTube, this Mad Scientist barbecue guy. He's got some really cool stuff. He has really cool content. He took one of his once to try to mimic Franklin barbecue and put some Wagyu beef fat in his. I will try that sometime too because it just looked awesome. So shout out to him for a good idea. Anything to make your brisket better, right? All right. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it over one more time. I'll call it good. Fold it up pretty tight. I'll go throw that back on. So just threw that flat back on, and this point has been on for a while now. Let's see if we can poke through here. Oh yeah. It's only a 183. Pokes, man, it pokes like pretty good. The fatter part's at 192. Oh yeah, that's really buttery too. That's 185, so that's pretty cool. This will only probably take another couple hours there. I'm gonna tighten that up a little bit, throw it back on there and get it a little bit tighter so it wraps up good, but this will be done a lot sooner than that. All right, looks like we are at the old 7 hour mark. I think we're gonna be pretty good on this point. Let's see what it looks like. Well, it sure looks juicy. Let's see how easy it probes. Ooh, that's like butter. It's still climbing, 192. I'm more concerned with how buttery it pokes than the temperature of it. Whoops. Yeah. Ooh, I think it's done, man. Yeah, that's like
Only resistance I'm getting is from the paper. A little bit off there. Yeah, I think it's time. Yep. All right, I'm gonna pull that point, get it off of there, just let it rest. It is only 2 o'clock, so that thing can rest till like 5 or 6, and it'll just be perfect. Let's see here. As far as that flat goes, it's gonna be a while. I can already tell. It's barely even juicing. It's sitting about 190, but it's not quite as tender, especially on this part right there. Yeah, that's gonna probably have to go for another 2 hours at least. So that'll be 2 more hours. That's coming off. Whoops. All right. Let's check this out. This is 3 o'clock. Starting to get a lot more moisture out of it. Ooh, say it's 207, but we'll see. This part over here, looks like butter. Look at that paper. It's cooking pretty easy. And it's reading like it's done. Yep. I think we are done. That is a total of 8 hours on the heat, wrapped up for 2. I think that's what it needs to be. So I'm gonna get it pulled off and just let it rest. 3 o'clock now. I think I'll let it rest till 6, and we'll eat dinner tonight about that time. That point's already resting too, and it's doing good. I tell you what, I could probably use a little rest because I'm feeling a little rough from last night. You know what I mean? This is about done. Most of the videos I watch on YouTube, people make the meat, they talk about it, they don't ever cook any sides with it. I have some really simple stuff that I do. This I learned from my mom. I was like 10 years old and been making it ever since. It's a really simple scalloped potato recipe. Get about 4 or 5 potatoes, run them through a mandolin. If you don't have one, just slice them up about a 1/4 inch thick, about like you would your brisket, about pencil thin. If you're gonna use a mandolin, be super careful because you could be missing a fingertip like me. Just kidding. So what you do is you just layer in your potatoes, get you a little cheese slicer deal, and it's really simple. You just peel this back. You just make layers of the cheese and potatoes. I do 3 slices across it, just like that. Then I'm gonna layer on some more potatoes. And believe me, this is something that's just so simple that you will be wishing you did this a long time ago. Especially when you're gonna have Sunday dinner, hanging out with the fam, like we are in a little bit. My youngest daughter's at her first soccer game today. It's like 5-year-olds are all running around kicking balls, asking the parents like, "Why are we doing this?" You know, pretty intense stuff there. But you gotta start somewhere. All right, you keep doing. I'll layer mine different directions and put them in different spots too as I do it. And the key, when you get done doing all your layers, I'll just do one more, is to make sure that you put enough milk in there because it'll expand as it boils in the oven. I'll put it in the oven for about 45 minutes at about 400 degrees. Oh, look at those right there. These are about ready to go. They're super tender. I can't wait to cut into them and see what they look like. Then I'm gonna go ahead and finish up with this last row of potatoes, and then do the last bit of cheese and then milk and get it all set up. This was actually 4 potatoes in a 9x13 pan, so it's pretty simple to do. All right, I'll just do a little bit of cheese across the middle there because there's already quite a bit in there. If you're looking to stay healthy and fit, this ain't gonna do it. This just tastes really freaking good. I don't eat like this all the time, just like Friday nights and Sundays. One thing I forgot to do was put salt and pepper on it. I usually do that as I layer it in, but it'll be all right. Once it gets boiling in there, everything kind of mixes together anyway. So I'll cook it like this at 400 degrees for about 30 minutes. And then you don't want to put too much milk in there, but you want to have enough where there's maybe about a 1/4 inch in the bottom. That'll work. Cook it covered for about 30 minutes at 400, and then take the cover off, and you can even crank it up a little bit if you want to, but you want to get it where the top gets a little bit crusty, and this will be some of the best, like, simple homemade scalloped potatoes you've ever had in your life. So give that a try with your next brisket, or with whatever it is you cook. Could be beer can chicken, could be anything. Right, let's check out this point, see how it turned out. It is juicy. Just need to tear it open. There we go. It's down to about 140 degrees, so it should be really good. See how it's all just a little flopper there. Very nice. I'm gonna pour that juice in a bowl. Can't just throw that away. Push that out of the way. I'm gonna wash my hands. Quick rinse. Things are so slippery. Alright. So, key, obviously making sure your knife's sharp. This is that sharpener I showed y'all on that first video I did. It's Rada. It's a brand you can get on Amazon for like $8. I use this on broadheads for hunting arrows. Every knife I've got, it works awesome. So really lightly pull through. I like to get it where it's on the edge there like that. That way they don't smack it like I just did. Good. And you can feel it too. When you're pulling it through there, you can feel the parts you use a lot getting dull. So it makes a pretty big difference right away doing that. So we'll cut into this lengthwise here and show you how easy this cuts up. Hopefully it turns out really, really good. We're about to find out. So first cut into this point. This one cooked, this cooked a little bit less. I believe I cooked it 2 hours less than the flat that I cooked, which is another, like I said, a good reason to separate the two is if you want to cut down your time, you can do it like that. Also, if you want to spice them up differently, put different rubs on them, you can do that also. Looks pretty good. Yeah. This is my butter. Barely even pushing on the knife. I'm here in Kansas City, so we don't do sliced, they call it fatty end or some shit down in Texas or whatever. We do burn ends, so I will be taking these. I'm not gonna put them back in the smoker with sauce though. I really don't like sauce on mine. But that's the end piece right there. You can see how that fat rendered down. Whoop. Really good there. I'll get like in this angle here. It's all pretty juicy. Good, it's been sitting for about 3 hours. That's pretty good. Take this, turn it, and I'll go into little bitty 1-inch cubes right there. Try this, I gotta try this end piece right there. That fat looks like butter. Oh yeah. That coffee rub is pretty good. I haven't done that for a long time. Oh mama, that's really good. The afterbite is good. That black pepper I added to it is the key. We do it with steaks every once in a while too, and adding that black pepper really adds some dynamicness to it. A little bit of heat, not a lot, not really, but this changes the flavor profile a little bit. All right, Lucky Pitbull, go and get a bite too. You ready? Oh, he likes it too. That's Pitbull approved. So you break it up, look at it. Not a crazy smoke ring. I did not get crazy with the amount of wood I put in it, but that's about what you want. The first one I cooked on the channel had a really dark one, but it was also freaking -9 outside. Oh yeah, I mean, just pull it apart. I'll tell you what your burn ends. So I'm sorry if I'm smacking. Like I said, my wife said that's annoying, but
it is what it is. Very cool. Really happy with the smoke ring I got. The only wood I added was cherry and pecan, and I added that to that cowboy lump charcoal that has oak and hickory in it. So pretty pleased with that overall. My wife will be happy with it. She's a burn-in freak, not me. I like my sliced brisket. I'll probably make a sandwich later, but who knows? We'll see. That turned out pretty awesome. Bark is killer. That's just with that black pepper and coffee rub. So if you can't, if you don't have a Trader Joe's around and you want to do a coffee rub, there's a bunch of recipes online. You can just make one up. So anyway, yeah, it turned out pretty good. Pretty pleased. Very good. I like it when you pull on it. It's got a little bit of a tug, and then you can tell how fibers are broken down. I hate when it just crumbles in your hand. I've seen people just take brisket and break it up with their fingers. That's just overcooked where we come from. So there you go. That's my best I think I've done in a long time. Moment of truth. See how this flat turned out. Like I said, I was just wanting to do something that I haven't done in a long time, and separating the two, it's always been pretty good. There's probably a lot of guys watching this will be like, okay, nail my brisket with the point everything attached, dude. That's fine. I can too, but this just works out pretty freaking awesome, so you might want to try it. Ooh, I feel the fat already on the other side breaking up. All right. That's my flat end right there. I showed it in my first video, but a lot of you already know it. I just take a little simple chunk off the corner right here before I even do anything to it. That way I know where, ooh man. That little end cap kind of good. Want some boy? Come here. Come here. You go. All right. So, that way you know which way you're slicing this grain the whole time. And like I said, I didn't put a whole lot of rub on here, so it's not very hard to follow. So far, so good. Figured to give you all the good end here, the good view. That is a killer smoke ring on here. As you can see, it's cutting very easy. And this is a total cook time of 6 hours on the point and 8 hours on this flat. I did all at 250. Pretty good. Oh yeah, just that little tug. That flat's my favorite. I don't know, some people like the burn ends. They're good, but man, that's perfect. Let's go ahead and get into the thicker part right here is obviously everybody's favorite. It's my favorite part. My mouth's watering as I talk. This has a little bit spicier rub on it, but it makes it really taste good. I mean, you take a piece like that and put it on a bun for a kid, you split it in half, put it on a bun, that's all they need. So obviously the bend test is pretty money. It's pretty hot still, actually. A little floppy on there. Forgot I zoomed in twice. And then just a little pull. See how that's coming right apart? That's perfect. So I think overcooked brisket is 100% better than undercooked brisket. But when you're patient and you're checking in on it every hour and you really keep a good eye on it and you nail it right where it's perfect like that. Here's a good piece here. I mean, that piece is perfect. You can see the muscle fibers are already kind of tearing apart. Just a little pull. That's all you need to do. So anyway, very happy with the smoke ring. Very happy with the flavor, tenderness. I had a little run there for a while on that pellet smoker I used to have where I was having temperature swings and things were wrong and I just was not getting what I wanted. The only thing I would do different, I think, on this one is I might have let it go a little bit longer so the bark would have formed a little better. When it sits in the, when it sits in the butcher paper, the edges stay pretty crispy, but this top part didn't. But I also cooked this on that top rack. Didn't cook it down low, which I might do that next time too. There's a lot of different ways to do it on there. Killer. I mean, one of these long pieces might be dinner for one person. But I got some pretty cool neighbors. They've been outside a lot. They've been getting into smoking too. And I'll be sharing for sure.
Take them a little piece of this, some burn ends. Very cool. Pretty good. Like I said a long time ago, I hate when people are like squeeze their meat and you're like, look how juicy it is. I'm like, yeah, you squeeze anything hard enough, something's gonna come out of it, you know what I mean? So anyway, that's what happens when you're patient and you just take your time and you watch it and you just keep an eye on it the whole time. It really does. This grill though, I mean, to be honest, if I was cooking with an offset smoker like I did back in the day, it would have been a lot more labor intensive process. I wouldn't have felt comfortable leaving for a couple hours today and coming back. But that's part of technology, which makes things a lot easier in life. So here we go. I'll show you what it looks like all plated up once those potatoes are done. But good color, good breakup. Ooh yeah, baby. Turned out good. Okay, here's the finished scalloped potatoes. The only thing I left out, which annoys me, is the purple onions. They put purple onions in there too. It makes it a little bit better. That's how Mama did it. And this is what it looks like plated up. Got some burn ends, flat, and scalloped potatoes. She'll probably have a sandwich. She'll eat all the burn ends. So, if you like what you see, like, subscribe, comment, talk shit. We can have fun. Thanks.